Welcome to the channel Adam's Adventures, and in today's video I explored this amazing ruined castle of Urquhart, which has a truly rich history for which has a rough ending towards its lifetime. The main castle ruins has been built around 13th to 16th century style of fortifications, but originally started as an early medieval fort from 9th century. The castle is one of the most popular visits if you feel the travel around Loch Ness or heading towards Inverness Way. The first documentary recorded of Urquhart Castle occurs in 1296 when it was captured by Edward I of England. Edward's invasion marked the beginning of the Wars of Scottish Independence, which would go on intermittently until 1357. Edward appointed Sir William Fitzwarren as constable to hold the castle for the English. In 1297 he was ambushed by Sir Andrew de Moray while returning from Inverness, and Moray began a laid siege to the castle, launching an successful night attack. In 1303 Sir Alexander de Forbes failed to hold off another English assault. This time Edward installed as governor Alexander Comyn, brother of John, as the family had sided with the English against Robert Bruce. Following his murder of the Red Comyn in 1306, Bruce completed his defeat of the Comyns when he marched through the Great Glen in 1307, taking the castles of Inverlochry, Urquhart and Inverness. Soon after, the castle became a royalist place. Urquhart, originally held as a royal castle, and has raided multiple times by the MacDonald Earl of Ross. Then the castle was granted to the Clan Grant in 1509, although the conflicts from the MacDonalds occurred at many times once again. Despite a series of further raids, the castle was strengthened only to be largely abandoned by the middle of the 17th century. Urquhart was partially destroyed in 1692 to prevent its use by Jacobite forces, and it went into decay. 1509, Urquhart Castle, along with the estates of Glen Urquhart and Glen Moriston, was granted by James IV to John Grant in perpetuity, on condition that he repair and build the castle. The Grants maintained their ownership of the castle until 1512, although the raids from the west continued. In 1513, following the disaster of Loddon, Sir Donald MacDonald of Loch attempted to gain from the disarray in Scotland by claiming the lordship of the Isles and occupying Urquhart Castle. Grant regained the castle before 1517, but not before the MacDonalds had driven off 300 cattle and 1,000 sheep, as well as looting the castle of the provisions. In retaliation, the MacDonalds and their allies, the Camerons, attacked and captured Urquhart in 1545. Known as the Great Raid, this time the MacDonalds succeeded in taking 2,000 cattle as well as hundreds of other animals and stripped the castle of its furniture, cannon, and even the gates. Grant regained the castle and was also awarded Cameron lands as recompense. The castle, situated on a headland overlooking Loch Ness, is one of the largest in Scotland in area. It was approached from the west and defended by a ditch and a drawbridge. The buildings of the castle were laid out around two main enclosures on the shore. The northern enclosure, or Nether Bailey, includes most of the more intact structures, including the gatehouse and the 5-storey Grant Tower of the north end of the castle. The southern enclosure, or Upper Bailey, sited on a higher ground, comprises the scattered remains of earlier buildings. By the 1770s, the castle was roofless and was regarded as a romantic ruin by 19th century patrons and visitors to the Highlands. In 1884, the castle came under the control of Caroline Dowager, Countess of Seafield, widow of the 7th Earl of Seafield. On the death of her son, the 8th Earl, on Lady Seafield's death in 1911, her will instructed that Urquhart Castle be entrusted into state care, and in October 1930, responsibility for the castle's upkeep was transferred to the Commissioners of His Majesty's Works and Public Buildings. Historic Environment Scotland, formerly Historic Scotland. The successor to the Office of the Works continued to maintain the castle, which is scheduled monument in recognition of its national significance. Thank you for watching on this beautiful ruined castle that has so much impact of history in its lifetime. Stay tuned for more adventures in the coming future, and please consider subscribing, like and comment on the video.